Hi everyone, my name is Yan. I'm from the valuation team in the Natural Capital Singapore project. My research topic is people's dynamic adaptation to change in green space supply. So estimating the park value change association with the surrounding environment, I aim to implement a complex adaptive demand model of green space for understanding of how people's behavior impact the urban planning. The outcome of my project may benefit for government agency on Singapore's planning and development. I firstly use choice experiment to identify essential characteristics for park values, and secondly estimate the change of park value with changing park locations. Let's start with the choice experiment. The data was collected from National Survey 1, in which we utilized a discrete choice experiment to examine the public's preference for potential ecosystem services and the other related characteristics from urban parks. In the result, we found that all 6 characteristics, including park facility, bird species, temperature change, canopy cover, park crowdedness, and travel time, are associated with people's preference in park and therefore determine the value of park. 3 of the 6 characteristics, namely temperature change, park crowdedness, and travel time, are determined by park locations. We choose them to estimate the change of park value in association with the change of park location. Now, I would like to show you the result of the park values. We created a raster layer for Singapore with size 25 hectares. We allow each cell to be a candidate park site to calculate the people's marginal willingness to pay for the different characteristics. We calculated a pairwise shortest distance for all cells through the road network of Singapore. Using the pairwise distance of all cells, we calculated the dynamic of resident marginal willingness to pay based on park crowdedness, travel time, and temperature change respectively, as highlighted in the figure. In the calculation of park crowdedness, we adopted the travel cost method, which calculates the visitor rate for new park based on visitors' travel costs from different parts of Singapore. In the calculation of travel time, we separated by walking distance and travel by transportation. In the calculation of temperature change, we used the result from NatCap terrestrial team that the temperature change related to the vegetation type change if converting different type of vegetation to park. We calculated the park's visitors' marginal willingness to pay on the 2 conditions separately. One is the park visitors' marginal willingness to pay for neighborhood parks, which are located within 3 kilometers, and the residents walk to the park. The other is the park visitors' marginal willingness to pay for non-neighborhood parks, which are located more than 3 kilometers away from the residents, and the residents take transportation to the park. We use marginal willingness to pay as proxy to represent the park value. Now, please allow me to show you the result for the park value change when considering park crowdedness, travel time, temperature change, and overall. In the result, the first figure on top shows the park value for neighborhood parks, and the second figure at the bottom shows the park value for non-neighborhood parks. As you can see, park value is reduced at the center of Singapore, which roughly overlapping the gravity center of Singapore population. These 2 figures show the park value result for the travel time. For the neighborhood parks, the park value related to travel time is mainly determined by the residence density, and for non-neighborhood parks, the park value correlated to travel distance from all across Singapore to the potential site. These 2 figures show the park value result for the temperature change. For neighborhood parks, the park value determined by both vegetation type and the resident density. For non-neighborhood parks, the park value is determined by vegetation type of the potential park site. These 2 figures show the park value result for the overall, which includes impact from characteristics of park crowdedness, travel time, and temperature change. For the neighborhood parks, the overall park value is mainly contributed by travel time. For non-neighborhood parks, The overall park value is determined by all three characteristics. Considering the non-neighborhood parks has a higher overall value compared with neighborhood parks, when designing a park location, we would suggest to give more consideration to the users all over Singapore. And the suggested sites are the yellow ones in the non-neighborhood figure, which are at the ring of center avoiding existing unmanaged vegetations. The reason uses the negative park value in the result figure is because most of the characteristics we use in the park value analysis have the negative marginal willingness to pay in the choice experiment result, such as park crowdedness, travel time, and the part of temperature change. Thank you very much for your interest in my project, and hope you will have a great time in our Natural Capital Singapore workshop.